Welcome back to Ballboy Media. I'm LJ, and today we're going to be talking about some breaking news from Shams Charania. If you want all the latest updates on the NBA trade deadline as we approach it on February 6th, please be sure to like this video and subscribe. Comment down below one trade you want to see at this year's NBA trade deadline. So, getting right into it, Shams Charania reported earlier this afternoon that the Kings are, kind of musing a trade for De'Aaron Fox. In his tweet, Shams said the Sacramento Kings are expected to open up talks to potentially deal All-Star De'Aaron Fox ahead of February 6th trade deadline. He says there will be plenty of suitors, but it is believed, and Chris Haynes reiterated this in a tweet, that Fox has a destination in mind, and this is crucial when considering where they might trade him, because it is evident that the Kings, while they may know where this is, us as common fans do not. So in terms of implications for the Kings, it's really been a tale of two seasons for Sacramento. They're 24 and 22. They have the 6th best offense and 20th best defense in the NBA, kind of akin to what we've seen in this run of recent Kings wellness compared to how they were in the 2010s and early 2020s. They, got off to a 13 and 19 start, very cold, and have gone 11 and 3 since. And 10th in the West right now. They're in the play-in picture. Not quite sure if they'll be able to stay there. However, they are multiple games up of the Golden State Warriors and San Antonio Spurs. The other thing to note is that they do still have plenty of talent if they were to deal Fox. Domantas Sabonis is averaging 21 points, a league-leading 14.6 rebounds per game, which, should he stay steady to that pace, it would be his 3rd consecutive season leading the NBA in rebounds per game, as well as 6.5 assists per game. They have Keegan Murray is starting. He's averaging 11.8 points per game. He has been a little cold this season, but I do expect him to bounce back in a real way. DeMar DeRozan, stage veteran, averaging 21.7 points per game, new addition to this Kings team this offseason. And Malik Monk is averaging 17.9 points per game and 5.8 assists per game. He has, kind of been a starter more than usual this season. As we've seen him with the Kings, he's been kind of in a 6th-man role. Not this season. This year he has been a starter, and it has worked out for them. In terms of potential suitors, as of right now, to me it feels as if there's only two, and that would be the Houston Rockets and San Antonio Spurs. And these two teams, I feel like, would be, while they're working towards the same goal, it's for different reasons. The Rockets are 31 and 14. They're 2nd in the Western Conference after Amen Thompson's game winner against the Boston Celtics last night. And what they're doing is cashing in on the present. They, have a lot of assets and, a top 3 defense in the NBA. They have 2 potential All-Stars, although it is not clear whether they will be All-Stars in Alperen Sengun and Fred VanVleet. With the San Antonio Spurs, you have an All-NBA caliber player in Victor Wembanyama, as well as an aging Chris Paul and several other key veteran pieces and up-and-comers, such as Devin Vassell. They're 20 and 23. They are 12th in the Western Conference, and they're banking on potential here. If you're the Spurs, I don't think you make this trade if you do not believe that you are the team that Fox wants to re-sign with. They have to know that to make this deal. And when you're dealing with a player as generational as Wembanyama, you really want to preserve all your assets. So I believe San Antonio will hold off unless they are certain that De'Aaron Fox will re-sign with them. Last thing, the Spurs, maybe they want to make a playoff push. If not, I believe that should things go south with Fox in his new destination where he apparently wants to re-sign, they could be a player for him in the future, because I believe he is one of the best guards in the NBA, and I think he would pair well with Victor Wembanyama. Now, in terms of Houston's trade package, I have not included picks for this or San Antonio's because I'm going to explain their assets. It is unclear to me what assets will be in the deal, but we can really work out the contractual framework regardless of that fact. So, in this deal, the Rockets are giving up Fred VanVleet to the Kings, who, albeit, I'll be the first to admit, VanVleet, although he is not a, stellar guard in terms of a De'Aaron Fox, a Ja Morant, that type of level of guard, under the Currys and Sheas of the world, Fred VanVleet is still a solid guard, and he can give you great facilitation, and on any given night, he can just light you up for 30 points. I think that the Kings getting VanVleet would kind of not preserve, because I do believe that Fox is, a bit better than him, but in terms of the mission of the Kings, I do believe they can still make a playoff run with Fred VanVleet instead of De'Aaron Fox. In this deal, to make the salaries work, they are also giving up Trey Lyles, which basically evens this deal out completely. So Houston, in terms of picks, they're sitting on a treasure trove of assets, one might say. They have their own picks in 2027 and 31, as well as their first-round pick in 2025. However, their 25 and 27 picks cannot be dealt due to the step-in rule because their 2026 first-round pick is already outgoing. They have swap rights with their pick and Brooklyn's pick in 2027. That is massive when you really think about it. If Brooklyn is still rebuilding in 2027, that pick will have immense value, and Houston, being able to trade with that pick is definitely an asset that you might want to obtain. They have Phoenix's first-round pick in 2027. Again, I'm not quite sure the lifespan of Kevin Durant in the NBA. He's been in the league for as long as I've been alive, and I believe that, by 2027, I'm not quite sure what the Suns will look like, so I believe NBA GMs will think similarly to me in that regard, and I think that pick will be viewed as ultra valuable. And they also have the two most favorable of Dallas and Phoenix's picks in 2029. Again, Phoenix, what's better than Phoenix's 2027 first-round pick? Their 2029 first-round pick. In the eyes of the general manager, these picks are extremely valuable. Same thing with Dallas. I'm not quite sure where Dallas is going to be. If they have Luka Doncic locked up long-term, they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a contender for as long as he's on the team. But, if he's not on the roster, I'm not quite sure what Dallas looks like. And in 2029, I'm not quite sure that Kyrie Irving or Klay Thompson is even going to be in the NBA. That is 4 years from now. I have my doubts about Klay Thompson lasting 4 more years. Although he did have a very good first quarter yesterday, draining 7 threes. Moving on to San Antonio's trade package, they're giving up Keldon Johnson and Trey Jones. They're also taking in some money on this deal, but it's all right in the grand scheme of things. If you're San Antonio, if you know that Fox is going to want to come to your team, you do everything to get him. And I completely agree with that as a move to be made. They can throw in minimum deal level players to reduce the cap impact. So, for example, they have Sidi Sissoko, Sandro Mamushkavili, as well as Charles Bassey. All three of those players are making in the $2 million range. So if you could add those players, you might as well. To just mitigate some of the cap impact that you're gaining from this deal. They have, if you thought Houston had a treasure trove of picks, the Spurs have a whole dynasty of picks. They have, Atlanta's first-round pick in 2025 and 2027. They have swap rights with Atlanta in 2026. They have swap rights with Boston's pick in 2028. They have Dallas or Minnesota's pick in 2030, whichever they choose. And they have swap rights. Now, this is very important. They have swap rights with Sacramento in 2031. I believe that is very important, and that is the edge that San Antonio has over Houston from an asset standpoint, is they actually own, some sort of stipulation over one of Sacramento's picks, which I believe that they will desire mightily in any deals involving De'Aaron Fox. Thank you for watching. Where should Fox end up? Personally, I'd like to see him on the San Antonio Spurs. I'd like to see them get Wembanyama a real running mate. Comment what you want to see down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are churning out videos all this week, all next week up to the trade deadline. I'm super excited. I'm sure everyone watching is as well. Thank you, and I will see you next time.